What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, for those of you who are new, and for those of you who are not new, welcome back. Today's video is going to be my June reading wrap up. It's late, I know. This video is actually supposed to go up in the first week of July. This is supposed to go up on the 5th, actually. Things happen, life happens, so I am recording this late in the month, but it is giving me time to give y'all reading vlogs at the end of July, so it all works out. With that being said, I'm not going to hold y'all here long because it is about to storm. So I need to hurry up and get this recorded. So just to give you guys a recap, I will put on the screen what books I was supposed to read in June when I did the TBR prompt wheel thing. These are the books that I was supposed to read in June. I think I was supposed to read like 7 books, or I picked 7 books that I was supposed to choose from, and I only got 2. But I read 6 books in total. So moving into the first book that I read in June, I read my second Taylor Jenkins Reid book. Did I read this first? Yes. This is the first book I read in July, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six. Oh, disclaimer, I have to use my overhead lighting in my bedroom. Like I said, it is about to storm, and I'm filming this late in the evening, so if you hear any storm in the background or if the light is distracting, I do apologize. Unfortunately, this is the hand that I was dealt today. So anyways, Daisy Jones and the Six. This is the second novel that I've read by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this book 5 stars. Taylor Jenkins Reid just has a way of writing some of the most realistic characters that I've ever read on paper. With The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, you couldn't tell me that Evelyn Hugo was not a real actress from the 50s or whatever time period that book took place in. You could not tell me that Daisy Jones and the Six were not a real band. I looked them up because I wanted to see if this was a real band. This book was so good, and I listened to it on Spotify. If you have Spotify Premium, you get I think like 15 hours of audio books, and I basically used all of my audiobook credits on this book and another book that I'm going to talk about later. This was just really good. The voice actors, they all have their own voice, and there are so many people, so many characters in this book, and it just made it so much easier to read. I did immersive read this. I read it, while listening to it. I mean, the book itself is already so good. If you don't know, this follows a character named Daisy Jones and basically her rise to fame, not only herself but the band The Six, because The Six was a band of its own and Daisy Jones ended up becoming a singer with them. But this book is just so good, and like I said, these characters felt so real, and I cried at the end. She just has a way of making you care for fictional characters, and you care so deeply for them. You care about their journey, you care about their growth, and I just really enjoyed this book. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I want to read her entire backlist. Harry Soto is back. What is it? Malibu Rising. She has so many books on her backlist that I want to read. Atmosphere being one of them. I do have that book, and I do plan on reading that hopefully next month. But yeah, I love her writing. Did I say I gave this book 5 stars? I highly recommend Taylor Jenkins Reid if you haven't read anything of hers. This is interview style. I don't know if I said that. The entire book is interview style. It's not chapters. It's literally just from start to finish, it's interview style. And at the end, when you learn who's doing the interview, it just makes it, oh God, it's such a great book. She writes really good feminine characters. They're always so strong and so like sure of themselves, so confident, and it just really makes me want to read her other books because I know from other people and what they've said about her writing that her characters are just really confident women. So Daisy Jones and the Six, 5 stars. Taylor Jenkins Reid, highly recommend. The next book I read in June, because I feel like I keep saying July, Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. This book has been recommended to me so many times. I believe at one point it wasn't being sold because it went from indie publishing to traditional publishing, because this wasn't the original cover. The original cover, I'll put it on the screen, was a real person, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, this book follows Janelle in Rome. Janelle's sister is marrying her ex-boyfriend in Tulum. And so the whole book takes place in Tulum, and Rome basically gives her a proposition, you know, like, who's taking care of you? Why don't you let me do it? And she goes, okay, but only for a week, only for the week, because they're in Tulum for 2 weeks. And so basically she says it's only for the week because during that second week, family and friends start to arrive for the wedding. And yeah, so basically that is the entire premise of this book. That you do have familial drama, and I could see myself in Janelle. Janelle is pretty much a people pleaser. I'm gonna put this down. Janelle is somewhat of a people pleaser, and she just wants to do right by her sister and her mom, even though neither one of them really treat her the best. I mean, my mom and my sister treat me just fine, but as far as like being a people pleaser, I could see myself in Janelle as far as that. But Rome was an amazing mailman character. I mean, he was there for her. He like cared for her. He noticed when things weren't right with her, and it was just a really good, fun book. It's really easy writing, very easy to digest. It is thundering so loud, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but very easy to digest, and just an all-around fun read. I don't think it was more than 400 pages. It wasn't even more than 300 pages. So a very easy read, very quick read. I think I finished this in like 2 days. Could have finished it in 1, but y'all know I work a third shift job, so I have to go to bed in the middle of the daytime sometimes. But really good read, and I want to read more of her stuff. I don't know if this is her only book out, and apparently this is going to be a series. I don't know how true that is, but I think this is going to be a series. It's called the Forever Falling series. It says it right there. But yeah, this is a really good book, and like I said, just another female main character that I could relate to in a sense. Real fun, real cozy, destination vibes, and I've always wanted to go to Tulum, so this is like a really good book to read, especially in the summertime, because obviously it takes place in Tulum. The next book that I read in June, which led me to a new favorite author, I cannot wait to read her newest release, is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Y'all have, I think, heard me talk about this before. I'm not 100% sure, but this book was so freaking good. I mean, I just wasn't expecting it, and I think it's because I went into it with pretty like medium expectations. Like, people tell you this book is good. They tell you that it's gothic and it's dark and it's fantastical, very magical, and it's all of those things. Like, it's all of those things and more. There is a touch of romance in it. Well, I would say there's a lot of romance in it. It's no, not friends to enemies. It's enemies to lovers. And it's just such a good book. Like, this book follows Elspeth Spindle. Elspeth, I don't want to say too much. Elspeth has a monster in her mind, and when Elspeth needs help, she calls for help, and this thing basically takes over her entire being and will fight off whatever is trying to hurt her, whether it be something from the mist or someone trying to attack her. They have these things called Providence cards. I don't know how to describe this book to y'all without spoiling anything, but I highly, highly recommend this book. I mean, I gave this book 5 stars. I just, from the first page, literally from the first page, I knew this book was going to be 5 stars from the first page. Her writing is just so poetic. It's so, I don't want to say whimsical, but it's just, it gives such magical vibes, and it was just such a very good read. And I feel like every time I closed the book and put it down, I wanted to pick it up. Like, if I was at work, it was literally the top thing on my mind was, I cannot wait to pick up One Dark Window. I hadn't read a book on break at work in so long, and I took my physical copy with me to my warehouse job. It was just such a good book. Like, this is a book that I would reread. This one and the sequel. I would reread this book so many times because it was so good, so poetic. The nightmare, he starts off as such a headache in this book, but you grow to love that thing, monster, man, whatever he is. You grow to love him by the end of, honestly, I would say by the end of book 2, because by the end of book 1, you're left on like a cliffhanger and you just don't know how to feel. Rachel Gillig, girl, you're literally an Audible author for me. I already have her new release. I bought it immediately, actually. But yeah, definitely recommend this book. I know I didn't do a good job at explaining to y'all what it's about, but that's just because I don't want to spoil anything. They're basically on a quest to cure Blunder, which is the mystical place of the sickness that everyone is trying to stay away from. So 5 stars. Rachel Gillig, you're that girl. I just want you to know that. So then I read my first Black classic, and that is Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. I actually have never even seen the movie Their Eyes Were Watching God. I've seen clips and snippets, but I've never actually seen the full movie to this book. This book is a very short book. I don't even think it was more than 200 pages. It wasn't. And typically I don't buy books that are this thin, but at the time when I bought it, I didn't know that it was as thin as it was. This is another book that I immersive read. I had to listen to it because if you've never seen the writing inside of this book, it can be kind of I think for me, it was just kind of hard for me to read it. I was reading it very slowly. And with the audiobook, it was better because you got the voices behind the, what is the word I'm looking for? Basically get the voice behind it. And it made it 100 times better for me because I was struggling in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. It was hard for me to really kind of read it the way it was meant to be read. But beautiful story. This follows Janie and basically just her life as she goes through relationship after relationship after relationship, pretty much, in a sense. But it's a story of not necessarily culture, I would say, but in this time things were looked at in a different way. Like, she's 13 and her grandma is telling her, you know, you're a woman now, it's time to get married at 13. And so she gets into her first marriage with a man who, you know, oh, it's starting to rain, with a man who is so much more older than her. And it just kind of threw me for a loop, honestly, because I forget that there was a time when that was such a thing. But I gave this book 3.5 stars just because it was just kind of hard for me to digest. I'm not a classics kind of girl. I know that that's a very controversial take, is, you know, well, how can you not read classics when you read books? I just feel like classics have a different tone of voice to them, and although with the audiobook it was easier to digest, it was just kind of hard for me to get into it. I did enjoy the story. The story was very good, very creative. It took a lot of turns that I didn't expect. Actually, it took a lot of turns that I didn't expect, but it was a really good book. And Janie told such a powerful story. She went through so much, literally from beginning to end. She kind of went through a lot. My memory card decided it wanted to stop recording, but she went through a lot from beginning to end. And just hearing her story, it was just very, not necessarily sad, because no, it was sad. Her story does have a pretty sad ending, but she went through life. She found the love of her life, and it was just a very emotional read. Would I read more? Yes, just because I do want to, I guess, cultivate like a taste for the classics, because I mean, without the classics we wouldn't have some of the stuff we have now. And so I do want to read more classics. This was still a beautiful book, and I do recommend it. I gave it 3.5 stars, and that's not bad at all. I just felt like it wasn't a 4-star for me, and it wasn't anything more than that. It's not something that I would think about outside of when I read it. So I mean, if you're into the classics, I actually want to know how you guys, if you've ever read this, how you feel about it, because like I said, this is the first classic I've ever read. So I don't know if that's just like because my palette isn't as like cultivated, if you will. But yeah, if you've read this, please let me know how you felt about it, because I really want to know if it's just like a me thing, because I've read so many modern books that this wasn't easy for me to digest, or like what will have you. So let me know down in the comments. The second to last book that I read in June was Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is the second and last book in the Shepherd King duology. Follows the same characters. It picks up exactly where the last book left off. This book was so good. I gave this book 5 stars as well. I mean, it's so intense. You literally pick up where book 1 left off, and it continues on with that same story. They're trying to cure Blunder of the sickness and the dark magic that is taking over their world. You have a king who really could care. Honestly, I don't feel like he really cared much about the sickness. I think he just cared more about being in control of the magic and of the people of Blunder. And although his character was very annoying, you still learn not necessarily to love him, but you learn to sympathize with him because he is just a drunk. He's a drunk, and he's a drunk, sad man. And so it's just, you learn to sympathize with him or empathize with him, whichever one it is. I think it's empathize. You learn to feel empathy for him because he's just a drunk. And after the way book 1 ended and the way he's feeling in book 2 is just, yeah, that's it. You just learn to empathize for him. But same thing, we're trying to find the Providence card so they can cure Blunder of the Magic. That's all I can really say without telling you guys too much. But this book is so good. It ends with a lot, like a whole lot. The nightmare, the monster thing from book 1. This is where you really learn his story and you learn to love the monster pretty much. And this is his, I guess, his arc, his character development comes in this book. And this was just such a great series. If this book had 3 more books, if it had 5 more books, I would read them all because this was just a really good series. And Rachel Gillick, she knows her pen. She knows her pen well because she just writes amazing words on paper. Like, this was just so good. I really enjoyed this duology so much, and I cannot wait to read The Night and the Moth that is on my July TBR, and that will be in a reading vlog. Hold me to it. I have to get my reactions to that book because I don't think I got my reactions to this one. So yeah, that's all I got to say about this. 5 stars, really good book. Can't wait to read more. Rachel Gillick, auto buy. I stand by it. I don't know what else to say. And for the last book I read in June, I read Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. This is the 2nd book in the Curve series. This follows Aaliyah from the 1st book. This follows her best friend Nina. All the books are going to follow the friend group. The last book follows Jazz, and I think that's going to be called Big Girl Blitz. I'll put it on the screen. And I think that comes out next year. So this is the 2nd book in that series. Nina is the player that they speak of on the title. She's not being played, she is the player. She has 4 men that she's dating. She has the romantic one, the funny one, the fun one, and the smart one. And you meet all of them. A really good book. Nina is the funniest person. I mean, these people, these men and women, I'll say, they were really trying to come at my girl because she's on the bigger side. And they, I guess, made them believe that because she was bigger, she was just supposed to give it up, or she was supposed to fall for these men. Like, she was just supposed to be easy because she was big. And that was literally how they thought. And then, like, people would think that she got these opportunities. She's a social media influencer. She's like a plus size model on social media. And, you know, she gets the opportunity to actually model for a company. And the girls are like, oh, she only got it because she's a big girl. She's a diversity hire, pretty much. She's a big girl hire. She's a sympathy hire. Like, she was quick with it too. Like, very quick with it. Like, they would try to come at her and she would come back at them. There are so many like funny quotes in here. Like, she is just the funniest. Like, if you thought book 1 was funny, book 2 is even funnier. Like, the humor, Danielle Allen knows how to write humor. It's so funny. Another thing I liked about this book is Nina. Okay, I almost said Aaliyah. Nina is really close with her mom and her dad, as opposed to book 1 where Aaliyah's mom and dad were very like, you need to lose weight so you can find a man. Like, no man is gonna love you, yada, 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 yada. Like, they were very on her about her weight, whereas in this one, her parents are very like supportive of her. They know her mission and like girls who look like her and how she encourages women to be confident and love themselves in the skin that they're in. And like, her parents are very, very supportive of her. And I love that in this book, because in that 1st book, Aaliyah's parents pissed me plumb off because why are y'all talking to your daughter like that? In this one, I felt like they were very loving, very caring, very like supportive, especially of her being a player. Like, they knew she was dating and that she dated multiple men at one time. And although her mom wanted her to find love, she understood, you know, where Nina was coming from, things like that. So this was a really good book. I gave this 4.75 stars. Very spicy. So if you don't like spice, do not read this book because it is heavy on the spice. I mean, from chapter 2, I think we get our first like scene. And I will say my favorite scene in this book takes place in like chapter 1 or 2, and it's the helicopter scene. Very easy to digest and fun. Like, the book was really fun to read. Like, I had a good time reading this book. Like, a really good time reading this book. I started a vlog reading this book, but I didn't continue that vlog. But this book was so good. I highly recommend this book. I recommend this series. If you haven't read Curvy Girl Summer, I definitely think you should read it. You can read them, you don't have to read them in order, but I will say they kind of take place in the same timeline as Curvy Girl Summer. Yeah, because Curvy Girl Summer follows Aaliyah and her whole thing. And so if you know, she's trying to find a man before her 30th birthday party so she can have a date for her 30th birthday. And so this book is in that same timeline before the birthday party, during the birthday party, and after the birthday party. So I would say read them in order, just because if not, you are going to get spoilers as to who she ends up with in the first book. So I definitely think you should read them in order. So that is it for this reading wrap up. I read 6 books in June, as you saw, and I had a really good reading month in June. I don't think I had anything below a 3 stars. So I think that's a really good month. Found some new authors that I really enjoy, read authors that I have read before and found more love for them, and yeah, really good reading month. So I'm looking forward to July. I'm looking forward to getting to my July TBR. I've already started it. I've read 2 books off of that TBR. So so far so good. So far so good. And yeah, what books did you guys read in June? What was your favorite read of June? And I'm gonna get out of here because, like I said, it is starting to pour down raining, and I'm gonna try to film another video before it gets too bad. So with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you're having a great start to July. Bye. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.